I had to find a way, and that's really what motivated me to find something that was going to be a career for me, somewhere where I would have more opportunities for my future family.
Hi, everyone. This is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion. And today, before I introduce this amazing woman from Latina Entrepreneur Network, which is a great organization for women, especially Latinas that have their own business. But I want to share a story first because it's very, very important. I'm about educating, teaching awareness, you know what I mean, and empowering, inspiring others. So this week, a mother reached out to me and said that she needed food. And so I started to do a quick fundraiser because obviously I did my autism awareness event and it broke my nonprofit account. And so I reached out to some people doing the minimum of $5 or $10. And this woman here that I will be interviewing, she donated 100. And because of her, this family got 2 weeks of food. But I also want to thank all the other contributors that were able to give through my nonprofit, the Phoenix Rising Coalition, to give back to our community. So welcome, Sara Rivera. Sara,
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you
really
so much. Thank you so
you're,
much, Raina. I
you're
appreciate
very
the intro.
Yes. And so as I do the beautiful intro too, Sara, Ms. Rivera, she is a business owner, All Med Insurance Services, and she is an insurance broker. So that sounds fascinating. I'm really excited to, interview an insurance broker
Yeah.
for medical insurance because I'm not experiencing that. I'm experienced in life insurance because I'm a life insurance agent. So I would love for you to educate and empower the community on the importance of medical insurance. So, before we do that, I
Yeah.
would love for you to take the viewers down memory lane about like where your family is from, because
Yes,
culture is so important. And,
absolutely.
where were you born and raised?
Okay, so I was born in Monterey Park. I lived out in La Puente for, I don't know, maybe a couple years, but I was raised out in Paris, California. So when Paris started, oh my gosh, it was a little town, a lot of dirt, hardly any buildings, hardly any roads. So seeing how much it's developed to now, I mean, there's been a great substantial development. It feels like we're going to be the next city of industry. But even just Paris was never known. Like it was, I would say Paris, and people would think Paris, France, and it's like no, 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 no. Paris, California. P Town, like whatever. People know it by now, but that's where I was raised. So I lived a very different life versus my older sibling who was raised out in La Puente, and LA County is just a little more hectic. But so I lived out, east side. So it's been a journey. My parents are both from Guatemala, so they immigrated here, and my dad actually was the first one to get everything settled for us, and then he brought over my mom and my oldest sister. And he started working at Jack in the Box for years. He has a pension through them, and my mom worked for Jack in the Box for several years. So Jack in the Box definitely holds a special place in my heart. Plus, their food's amazing. Um, and then after that, my dad actually got into real estate. I never really wanted to dabble in the real estate business just because it's too many numbers for me. I'm good. And after that, I went to school, graduated. I took a vocational class in ultrasound technician, but it didn't end up panning out the way that I had hoped. And so I didn't finish it because the school wasn't accredited and there was some other stuff going on with that. But nonetheless, it was a good experience. Other than that, I always worked in offices, reception work. I finished off in property management, and I loved property management. I did a lot of family housing. I ended up leaving from the student housing. So we had a property next to UCR, and it was, families can live there also. It wasn't just student housing, but it was, geared and dedicated to them. And that was the majority of our residents. So it was a big shift coming from managing families, regular couples, to kids. It's like these kids are being dropped off. They don't know how to clean their toilet. They don't know how to use the dishwasher. So I felt like before even having kids, they were my kids. And then from there, I retired from that because I got pregnant with my second child. And after that, you said, you know what, I don't want to go back to 9 to 5. Let me go ahead and give it a shot with the insurance field. And insurance has always been very intimidating to me. I know that when I was an employee and they would come every year and talk about our insurance benefits, it was just like another language. Like I just couldn't connect the two, it was very complex. So when I started training, I felt like I was learning another language. Like honestly, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm ever going to get this. It's just too many moving parts. But with training and, practice makes perfect. And with the guidance of my brother, who actually has his own office here in Myrna Valley, he's the one who got me into the business, to train me, showed me the ropes, and now it just comes so naturally. But it took time. It took time to gain the knowledge, to know all of the moving parts, because what I specialize in is in Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare Advantage supplemental PPO plans. So that's what my skills are best specialized in. Now our office does do covered California. They do life policies, but my focus is the senior community, because for those people who aren't aware, Medicare is a government health insurance program, and it tailors health insurance coverage for generally people who are 65 and older, or others that have disabilities. And a lot of people don't know this, that if you are on disability for more than 2 years, you can apply for your Medicare benefits earlier, before you're 65. So definitely educating the community. I work closely with a lot of providers' offices, primary care, internal medicine, so that I'm able to make contact with their patients and really educate and let them know what their options are. We're pretty much the middleman between the health insurance company and the member. It be your client, the beneficiary. We pretty much let them know what they're eligible for. We explain their options, and based on their needs, that's what we're gonna present to them at the end of the day. So that's really what the main focus of my career is now, and I've been doing it for 7 years, going on 8. And I'm just so happy that I stuck with it. And because the freedom, the financial freedom, the flexibility of my schedule, it's just amazing. And I'm a mother of 3 kids, one in high school, one going into middle school, one in elementary. So we got to be everywhere but still try to make some money. So this definitely has been the career for me, and it just has so many rewards that come with
Man, this was some good information, Sara.
it.
One thing I like about you is that you talk, and that's important because
Yeah.
I always tell Lux Media, our team, like sometimes I feel I have to pull people's teeth out a little bit just
Yes.
to get the complete interview. And so I'm
Yes.
really, excited that you have a bubbly personality. You're
Yeah.
very open, and going back to your conversation, I was thinking about Paris, California
Yeah.
in the 2000s. Well, actually no, in the 90s.
Mhm.
With Uncle Raymond, he lived off of Highway 74.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we
I'm
would take,
familiar.
the what is that? The 15 freeway, exit off Central, and then
Yes.
make that left. If
Uh-huh.
you made it right, you were going to Lake Elsinore.
Exactly. But if you make a left, you're going to Hemet, San Jacinto, Homeland, that whole area.
Yes, and,
Yes.
our best times were in Paris, California, and I remember somebody saying, "Oh, what did you guys do this weekend?" And I'm like, "We were in Paris, California." They're like, "Paris what? Paris?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "California." They're like, "Oh, California have a Paris?" I was like, "Yeah, they do."
So you know what I mean? Like they're just so perplexed. Like that don't make no sense.
Oh my gosh. So that cracks me up when you share that story because I've done that when, I'm from Inglewood. So people
Yes.
are like, Paris in California. I'm like, yes, it
Right?
is.
It's there.
Perris, Paris.
Yes. Paris.
Yeah. And so my memories was, we call it the Ponderosa. You
Okay.
had a lot of land, horses, pigs,
Yeah.
chickens, animals.
Mhm.
And we got away from the city to come to the country.
There you go.
It was so
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah.
especially behind his house was like, mountains, and we go bike ride, we'll do
Mhm.
crawfishing in the
Yeah.
back or go camping.
Yeah.
And so we had a good time. So Paris, California it brings back great memories for
Aw.
me.
That's
And
nice.
and then so, you were talking about, not working, and being your own boss, your
Yes.
own entrepreneur. And
Yes.
that is a very like one question I want to ask because it's so important.
Yeah.
What gave you that push? Because sometimes people are scared of leaping over.
Oh
So
yeah.
what gave you that push and that confidence that you can do it? Because I think people need to hear that, you know?
Yeah, you know what? It's really a hard shift to make because I all I knew was 9 to 5. All I knew was an hourly wage. Once I got to my property manager position, I thought I had it made. A salary, off on the weekends, like insurance. Like I thought that was the dream. I thought that was the life, and it's just taking that leap and willing to get out of your comfort zone because when you're an independent, especially an independent insurance agent, you're not captive. You have several contracts, but you're pretty much kind of like a contractor, right? So, but you also only make money if you are out there signing people up. The good thing about the business is that the health plans are the ones that pay us, so all of our services are free of cost to all of our members and our beneficiaries. um, so it makes it a lot easier of a sale because you're not asking for any money in return. These are already benefits that they're paying for through their social security or retirement checks. So we're just having to find options so that they take more advantage of what they're already getting, right? But definitely the shift was that mentality of, you know, knowing that in the end it's so much worth it because of the financial freedom. There's no cap. You can go as high as you want. It really just comes down to you. But with that also comes the pressure. If I don't get up tomorrow, if I am not out there actively building relationships or talking to providers offices, I'm not going to make money. So I think it's always that scarcity, that it's like it's on you, it's all on you, versus you clock in, you're going to get paid. You just got to show up and do what you do. But when you switch to that entrepreneurial mindset, it's just a whole nother ball game. And I think it's a like kind of like a first generation. We're all just learning how this works. They don't advertise this enough. They don't really, I feel like they give the support or the promotion or the education on being self-employed. But it definitely comes with its benefits. But you gotta be hungry. You gotta be willing to grind. And I've just, coming from immigrant parents, we're just always been hard workers. We want to get the job done. We want to do the best that we can, and at the same time help people and help them change their lives, help them use the benefits that are eligible to them. So I've always said I always ask God, besides thanking Him for waking me another day of life, I always ask Him to allow me to be a blessing to others, how others have been a blessing to myself. Because I've definitely been in situations where I needed a helping hand or I needed gas money, especially when you start being independent. You start from the bottom and you have to work up your book of business. So I just, I'm thankful for the people that were in my life and are in my life that continue to help me. And I'm just really, so when you reached out and you told us that we can help in any way, and I know that any amount is going to be beneficial and it'll help somebody, like I'm all there for it. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
thinking of us.
You have a huge heart, and I love it. And that's the first thing I said. I was like, "Oh man, I got to interview Sada because she has a big heart." Like, man, some people that you don't meet in person,
Yes.
you know, they're not gonna. They don't usually normal people will not donate. They won't donate in that big amount. So
Yeah.
when you did donate, I was like, I need to connect with her. I feel like in life, it's always great to do reciprocal, so
Mhm.
you helped me through my nonprofit, and now I want to help you by you sharing your story with our viewers and also sharing your business.
Yeah.
And so one cool thing is, when you were in high school, I know usually they give you that question like, what do you want to be when you grow
Oh
up?
yeah.
What was that answer?
Dude, honestly, and I'm like, give my kids so much grace because I remember being in their shoes and they're asking early, like elementary, middle school. I never knew. I never knew what I wanted to be. And I kind of felt like, damn, like I felt bad. Like I didn't know I want to be a teacher. Like I didn't know what I wanted to be even past high school. I took a year off. Like, no lie. Like I just didn't know. I really didn't know what was my calling. I didn't know what I was interested in. I know that I love to talk. I know that I like to communicate. I'm bilingual. I'm very thankful for my parents for really instilling, us learning Spanish, because I tell my kids all the time, I know it's so much easier to speak to them in English, but I'm like, this is going to be to your benefit. This is what puts me on in other areas where, if you don't know the language, you're kind of, you're sheltered out. You don't get to go in because you don't get to reach out to that community. So I know that back when I was growing up, I honestly I didn't know what I wanted to be. And I didn't know what I wanted to be for several years. And I'm just like, let's normalize it being okay. And you really kind of just finding your way. So yeah, I say that was my story. I didn't know, but now I know that my heart and my spirit has always been linked to helping the community, educating, and using my Spanish language to do that.
Oh man, that's one of my barriers, Spanish.
Yes.
I
I
wish,
know, girl.
I
You
wish. Let me
can
tell
learn.
you, Sara, I ran for mayor of Inglewood last year,
I know. We were there
and
supporting you. We got
I
you.
knocked on four
You
thousand doors, and out of those 4,000 doors, 90% was Latino, and it was Spanish. And let me tell you, the whole time I was like, God, just give me enough to kind of be confident. And then
yes,
I remember one lady, she had me rolling because some people have regular Spanish and some people
yes.
feel like you need
Very
to speak
different.
the perfect Spanish. And so
Yes.
I just remember I said, yo sé, Raina Carrillo,
Uh-huh.
uh, al corando al cabeza de
Oh,
Inglewood. And then she was like, in Spanish, because I understand Spanish enough. And she was
yes.
like, oh, so you literally running for mayor of Inglewood? I was like, "Oh my god." I was like,
Wow.
no, but yes." And she was like, "It's okay. It's okay, mija. It's okay, baby. I
Yes.
understand." And she was like, she tried to speak her to me, she says broken English. It was the best English ever. And
Really?
so
Yeah.
me, I'm going to vote for you. I'm gonna have me and my kids vote for you and my
Oh,
husband.
yes.
And but it's definitely a barrier of mine, but
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I swear, like I've been wanting to get hypnosis done
Yeah.
because it's like I don't understand how I can get A's and B's in Spanish in college
Yes.
or in just regular high
Oh,
school. And when it
yeah.
comes to me talking, I'm like,
You
it's
know?
like a block there. And I'm like, where's the block? You
But
know?
it's like practice makes perfect. Estás practicando, estás hablando con la gente. Like, you really have to expose yourself to that environment so that it forces you to speak the language and get more comfortable, relaying your message, or at least learn the basics of what your script is, what you're trying to relay to your audience and to the people that you want to vote for you. Because once you get even just that down, and I'm happy to help you, girl.
Thank you, because I'm gonna
Yeah.
need you because I'm going one more round in 4
All
years
right.
running for mayor.
Okay, let's do it.
Yes. So you're a mother of four?
Three.
3,
Three.
okay.
Yes.
So how is motherhood? Because I love to share, to hear people share the story of entrepreneurship and motherhood, because a lot of
Yeah.
people always use the excuse of, I have children and it's hard for me. So I
Yeah.
want you to share your story on, how it is being an entrepreneur and a mother and balancing that.
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. You're juggling a lot of things. But we're moms. We can do anything. We have that superpower within us, and we don't realize it until we're put in positions where we have to really show up and do what we got to do. In the beginning, I was a single mom for a couple years, and I wasn't in the insurance business at that time. I was still working in property management, but I had to find a way, and that's really what motivated me to find something that was going to be a career for me, somewhere where I would have more opportunities for my future family. Then I met my fiance, and we had 2 kids together, and he had his career already, and I was doing property management. But once I had my second child, I was like, man, like, I can't, it's not as easy for me to go back. So I did it, and that's what prompted me to take a leap into the insurance business. But it's just finding that balance. We're at the end of the day, where there's a will, there's a way, and you'd be surprised how many people would come up to help you if you just ask. A lot of times we don't want to ask because we don't want to put that on other people, or we're embarrassed, or we're ashamed that we need help, whatever the case is. But I know that I've had a lot of close friends say, drop off the girls, like, drop off the kids, go run your appointment, come back for them, like you just be surprised. And there is a lot of services out there that you can look into to watch your kids even at school. I'm so grateful for the after school programs, because instead of me picking up my child at the normal 2 o'clock, I was able to pick them up at 4:30 or 5. So that gives me more time to be able to work. So there's definitely more programs and more assistance out there than there was obviously several years ago. But I love motherhood. My babies are my motivation to get up every day and give them, show them that it can be done so that they can dream bigger. Because I see my oldest excel in math. They're offering to put her in honors for math, and I'm like, girl, but why? Because I'm paying for a tutor. I've been paying for a tutor for her, specifically math, but she helps her in other areas as well. And it just makes you think, like, our parents did what they could with what they had, and if I have a little bit more and I can invest a little bit more in my child, like, the results are showing up for themselves. Like, it's just going to open up doors, and she's reaching levels that it makes you think, like, man, had I had, a tutor, maybe I would be better at certain things. But you know what? That just wasn't in the cards. That, our parents did the best that they could, and I'm thankful for all of that. But you always want to do more and be better. That ideally that's the goal, is to, break generational curses, and just break those chains, and change, and be open to other possibilities, and be willing to adapt. At the end of the day, it's worth it. And it's just something that you do, and it just matters what, where's your heart at, what are you looking to accomplish. But that it can be done, it can be done. And I'm so thankful for the Latina Entrepreneur Network, because everybody has a story, everybody has a journey. Not everybody's married, not everybody has that spousal support, or that husband, that can help them watch the kids while they're home. So there's very different situations, but everybody's doing it. And that's what is very admirable, that regardless of what the situation there is that they're out there, they're giving it all they can. And I just love that we are able to build this for each other, because I have my realtor, who is the one who introduced me to the group, Cynthia. And then I have Clarissa, who's doing my wine glasses for my wedding in July. I have Yoli, who helped me set up my LLC. Like, it just opens up so many other doors when you are open to exposing yourself and getting uncomfortable. Because I know I sound bubbly and whatever you want, but at the end of the day, I am very reserved. I really like to keep to myself. So me speaking out is really pushing me. But you know what? I want to grow, and this is what it takes. So you got to
That's
get uncomfortable.
right. I want to grow, and this is what it takes.
Yes,
Somebody throws something at you, and you're like, I need to grow. I'm going to do this.
let's do it. Yeah. Yeah,
That is
that's right.
awesome.
Believing Before Seeing, a new book by Candace Barr, teaching you how to believe into existence. Available now for pre-order.
So, med insurance services, what are the services they provide? And then break a little bit down as an example so people can kind of understand.
Yeah, so I'm a licensed insurance agent. I specialize in the Medicare field, Medicare Advantage plans, anywhere from HMO to PPO, or just prescription drug coverage. Also, the reason that we built the name was to build the business and now start to advertise our services. So it's all med insurance. So I did it that way so it could also go for all Medicare, all Medi-Cal, or all medical. Because at the end of the day, you want to have options. If I do decide to go the commercial route, or if I want to, dive more into the Medi-Cal with that business name, I have more flexibility to do so and target, each of those three categories. But mainly, it's me being a specialized agent. I'm licensed in California, Nevada, and Arizona. I service all counties: LA County, Orange County, Riverside, San Diego. So anybody that lives in any of those states or those counties, I'm definitely able to help you either over the phone, virtually. We can do in-home appointments, or if you want to meet at a Starbucks, wherever it is that the comfortable is more comfortable, the client is more comfortable, I'm willing and able to meet them then and there. So pretty much just educating them how Medicare works, what they're eligible for, helping them apply for benefits that they don't even know are available to them, is what we specialize in.
I love that. That's some great resources because What I plan to do this year, because like
Mhm.
I try my best to host like it's called Wealth, Health, and Self. So
Uh-huh.
it's dealing with money, right? Wealth, how to grow your
Yes.
business or how to save your money, right?
Yeah.
And then the wealth, health, and then health could be like how to take care of yourself, a
Mhm.
nutritionist, some an example like somebody that does Herbalife or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then self can just mean so much, meaning
Mhm.
whether it's something like this, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
medical insurance, health insurance,
Yes. Mhm.
freaking life insurance,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
a lawyer that can help people with a living trust,
Yes.
a criminal lawyer that, is successful in their own right to be able to help out, or immigration lawyers. So I
Yeah.
like to have these workshops in the city of Inglewood because that's my city. And I
Yeah.
believe the resources are so important.
Yeah.
So, definitely in a few months, I'll be reaching out to you
Yes.
to be my guest speaker
Absolutely. Please
and
do.
to educate our community, about your businesses, and we can word it, like, Medi-Cal, HML, PPO, so
Yeah.
that when people see the
Educational.
flyer, they'll
Mhm.
understand, and what
Yeah.
are the resources for people that are laid off, that
Yeah.
don't have their regular insurance. How can they get the other insurance? Because one key
Yes.
you said, I forgot how you said it, but you do California.
So our office does cover California, so we can get you a quote through the exchange, and then anything Medi-Cal related, we would have to refer you to your local Medi-Cal office. And then what I specialize is in the Medicare side. But like I mentioned too, people that are on disability for more than 2 years, they can apply for their benefits early, and a lot of people don't know
Wow. See, and that's some great information. I'm literally like,
that.
usually I'm in the studio filming, but
Yeah,
today with, stay home. Mommy has to take care of the 4-year-old twins.
that's right.
And try to like put myself on mute and then
Yes,
unmute.
yeah,
But
you
I'm
get it
writing
done
my
though.
notes. I'm writing my notes because this is so important. And
Yes.
so, what are your visions and goals for 2024? Because it's going to come fast.
Girl, it's all right. I already feel like it's already here. This year is flying so fast. So I know that when we had our meeting earlier this year with the Latina Entrepreneur Network, we did our vision boards, and my key word was growth. I want to grow. I want to train other agents to do what I do so that we can expand and so that they're available in other cities, other counties that, may not be as easy for me to get to as quickly. Now, like I said, I service all counties, but at the end of the day, I'm one person. So I am getting agents. So if you're licensed, you have a license to sell insurance, we can definitely get you licensed to sell HMO products. And I actually have an agent who's starting right now. He's actively in training. He's already has some sales under his belt. And then that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to build my team so that we can dispatch, divide, and conquer.
I like that. Dispatch. Hold on, girl. I'm writing
Yes.
this down. Hold on.
Yeah.
Dispatch. And you said what else?
Divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer. Yeah, I'm
That's
writing
right.
that down. That's a nice quote right there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, is there's I always, this the show is about purpose and passion, and I wanted to ask you two separate questions because purpose and passion are similar but they're different.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, Sara, what is your purpose on earth and what is your passion?
Well, I mean, I'm always asking God to make sure, He's the one who knows my purpose, and I trust Him fully to put me in those positions and put me in those rooms where He feels that my purpose is going to be best used. I feel that my purpose on this earth is to make a difference, is to help people that are underserved, that don't have that flexibility of knowing the American English language, and being able to be that resource for them and help them, also get the information that they get mailed to them. So many commercials, so many flyers that it's in English, And although a lot of material is in Spanish nowadays, still when it comes to insurance, majority is still in English. So I think that that's definitely my purpose, is to help educate others and be that resource for them, or at the very least be able to direct them, to where they need to go. And then passion, I mean, Love is my passion, spreading love, being love. Um, you know, God is love, and I just want to be able to reflect that in my home, in my business, in relationships, anywhere I go.
That is so beautiful. Definitely, definitely. Are there any books you're reading to stay, motivated in the entrepreneur spirit?
Yeah, so I follow a couple entrepreneurs, on social media. I listen to a lot of audiobooks because I'm driving a lot of the time. So a lot of audiobooks. I listen to a lot of devotionals too because I just got to make sure that my spirit is right and that I'm focused on what really matters. The world is so crazy nowadays that it's easy to get so overwhelmed with the news, with the negativity, with just so many things going on that I've learned to really just zone in on what matters and tune out, literally sign off of TikTok, sign off of Instagram. And when I did that challenge, I did it a couple months ago. You would be surprised how my production went up. Let me tell you. It went up a great deal. So, it really matters the environment that you put yourself in, the relationships, the community, because if you stay in a certain environment, it's going to be really hard to grow. And, again, it comes with being uncomfortable, being around people that are doing successful things that are hitting those goals that you want to reach. I would recommend reach out to them, listen to their stuff because they obviously did something right to get there. So I mean, you can't go wrong by listening to they at least 20 minutes a day. It makes a world of difference, even just to jumpstart your day. I definitely is something that I do daily, and I see that it's helping me, long term.
That's wonderful. And so I want you to share, with the viewers because you mentioned something, I'm a believer. I believe in God. And I wanted you to share your story about how did you find God to build that relationship with him, to have faith in him,
Yeah.
and what are the great qualities of yourself that you've learned having that relationship with God. Because, I'm a believer, so I love to hear people's
Yeah.
stories.
No,
There's always a
definitely.
story, like there's always
Yes.
like if you look at me and you see me with my shirt, there's a story behind that shirt. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah. Yeah.
thank
No.
God, because of him, I've changed my life. So I want to hear your story, Sada.
Okay. Yeah. No. Definitely. So I was raised Catholic. Going to church. Um, I still do the sign of the cross. I just feel like it's just like my protector. I'm in the car. We pray over our food. But I know that the way that I found Christ and actually a relationship with Christ, to me, it doesn't mean being at church every Sunday. It means that I can have an open communication and He's available for me at any time, any moment. And because I used to think as prayer, like I had to recite something, what do I have to say? I have to say the right things. And that's not prayer. Prayer is just having that honest conversation. God already knows what you're thinking, but He wants to hear it from you. And I found Him actually through a friend that was going to a Christian church in Corona. This is when I used to live out in Ontario. And I was a single mom at the time. I really was just like, I don't know, I just felt empty. I felt like I was missing something. And I didn't know what that was until I started going to the Christian church. I started listening to their sermons, and they just explained it to me in a way where it made so much sense. It was relatable. And I was able to really drop my guard and see what would happen. I was like, "Well, what do I have to lose, right?" And I found Christ. I gave my life to Christ. I was baptized, and my life hasn't been the same since. And as you mature in your relationship, it's kind of like a snake. You start to shed your skin and you start to renew and rejuvenate in different ways. And I just see that if I feel like when you're young, you do what you're told, and then once you're 18 you're like, I'll figure it out, and then life has a way to let you know, yeah, that's you figuring it out, how's it going? So I definitely fell a bunch of times, scraped up, life beat me up, I learned the hard way. But I'm thankful for all of those lessons because without those lessons I don't think I would have found my way to Him. The good thing is that the Lord never gives up and He's just always ready and willing. You just have to be open to open up that door for Him. But My faith is everything, and it's gotten me through so many storms. And life is gonna do what it's gonna do. And just knowing that I have that foundation, I know that whatever it is, as bad as it's gonna be in the moment, it's always temporary. It's always just a storm. And if you just hang on and endure, like, you'll get through it.
Thank you so much for sharing those inspiring words because
Absolutely.
I was also, born and raised Catholic. And it was, I enjoyed the community classes, the confirmation, because I was young, you're getting to learn,
Hmm.
about God and the Bible.
Yeah.
But it's weird that you said that about the empty part because I was going to church every Sunday because I didn't want to go to hell. That's how I felt. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, just,
Yeah.
I was just like, man, every time I look at that crucifixion, I was like,
Right?
that little whip on his, rib, I did that
Yes.
because I just sinned like this weekend. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh
Yes.
my gosh. And
Hmm.
so when I got baptized as an adult,
Hmm.
reborn Christian, I got baptized in the ocean because the pastor was like, "You
Wow.
want to get baptized in a pool?" And I'm
Yes.
like, "No, man, I want to go where the Creator made me." And
Amen. That's
let me tell
awesome.
you, when the pastor put me down,
Don't
that
you-
that wave hit me so hard. I had salt in my nose, my eyes, my ears,
Oh, no way.
my mouth, and I got up and he was like, you know, welcome, welcome. You are God's child. You've
Yeah.
always been his child, but now you renew
Yeah.
yourself. And I'm just like, man, I thought I was almost gonna get wiped out into the ocean.
They're like,
And
don't take me yet.
yes, and my pastor says, well, God has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so, feeling empty is I know we're not the only ones
Yeah.
to feel that way. And it's true. It's talking to God is not repetition.
Yeah.
It's more of a conversation, having a conversation with him, talking to him, whether you're on your knees in your room, on your knees
Mhm.
at church, or
Yeah.
just in the shower, taking a shower and talking to him, or that
Anywhere, man.
conversation in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I love that you shared that story because it's important for those that do feel empty and lost.
Yeah.
To know that they have people like you and I that they can just reach out to.
That's right.
All it takes
Mhm.
is just that one visit to a church, and if
Yeah.
it's meant for you to be in that church, God is
Mhm.
going to plant you there with a powerful message from the pastor.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so my pastor, I like him, because I mean he found God in prison. And I'm
Yeah.
used, I've done gang intervention in
Yeah.
the nonprofit sector since 1999.
Yeah.
And so I just felt like that was a connection, like somebody that's lived the lifestyle I have, never been
Exactly.
to prison, thank you, Lord, but he
Mhm.
found God in prison. And
Yeah.
because he trusted him and was in alignment with him, and last but not least was coachable and obedient,
Yeah. Mhm.
he got out early. It was
Really?
a freaking miracle. And so he says, you want me to become a pastor? That was a conversation with
Yeah.
God while he was in prison. And when he got out, he started to seek following what God had for him. And
Yeah.
he's an amazing pastor. He's a
Yeah.
prophet. And
Yeah.
it's rare that you get prophets in the church.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so now I'm on my spiritual journey. Actually, this weekend, they have a women's retreat called Esther and oh my God, what's the most important woman in the Bible too besides Esther? Oh my God, I forgot. Well, it's in Rancho Cucamonga.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you see a queen, I keep forgetting what it's called, but I think it's a scepter where the
Uh-huh.
queen has that thing.
Yeah.
So the retreat is about these two women in the Bible, and for us to 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 kind of like open our eyes in a spiritual awakening and get that scepter,
Yeah.
the queens,
Yeah.
to receive it. And the
Yeah.
woman that is hosting it is Yvonne Camper, and
Mhm.
she is a prophetess, in the
Okay.
church. And
Yeah.
so she's having this event, and I'm driving from Inglewood
Yeah.
all the way to
Yeah.
Rancho Cucamonga because it's important for me to get my scepter and
Yes.
to find my true calling to become Prophet Raina.
That's right.
You
Mhm.
don't get you don't just get the title, you're
Yeah.
chosen, and
Yeah.
you have to have a covering over, a well seasoned person in the church where there's a pastor, or
Yeah. To kind of endorse you, right? Sponsor you.
yes, to endorse you. But I know
Yeah.
I've been given the gift since I was 5.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I'm on this new journey. So it was
That's
just great to ask you
good.
these questions. And if you're not doing nothing Saturday, I will definitely send you the
How
information so then
exciting.
maybe you can join. So yeah, so I'm really excited about this Saturday. And it's interesting how, everybody has a journey in each season.
That's
And so
right.
I know that this season, I definitely don't want to miss my spiritual shift. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited to be able to share with others too,
Yeah.
about my journey this Saturday.
Mhm.
So before I close off, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Kim. We call her China. And
Cool.
we used to have a party crew called Firma Hainas. And this is her art
Okay.
fire from
Wow, I love it.
and so I had to support it today to give her a shout out. So shout
Yes.
out to all the Feed My Highness. And you can follow us on Instagram at Feed My Highness at
Mhm.
FIRMEHINAS. And it gives you the stories of our party crew through the 90s. Very
Wow.
interesting era.
Yes.
Yes. So hope the viewers can follow us on Feed My Highness, of course. But going back to the podcast, I just want to say thank you, Sara, for sharing your testimony and talking about your business and being an insurance broker.
Yes.
And just thank you so much. So, Sara, please share with the viewers how they can contact you through social media, through a website.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So you can always reach out to me directly on my cell phone. It's 951-322-8918. I also do have my email address that you can reach me at directly, which is almedins services.com. Or you can also reach out through my Instagram, which is Sarah_health and beauty all together.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this important information. Well, this is Raina Carrillo signing out. I'm all about educating, empowering, teaching awareness. So until next week, have a blessed day. Bye.